Hey, it's January 2023, and there's a wave of layoffs happening across the tech industry, with a lot of hardworking people losing their jobs. Now, if this is you or someone you know, I have a story to tell. Many years ago, I lost my dream tech job unexpectedly, but it turned out to level up my life as a result. So in this video, I want to tell you how I was fired from my job and how it turned out to be the fire that sent my life in a new exciting direction. This one's going to be vulnerable, but let's go. So let's set the scene. It's 2018, and I'm not going to get into the specifics about where it was. You can probably go find out if you wanted, but I'm working at a game company and working on a product that's very visible. And I'd been there for 4 years. We're building these products that were some of the highest visibility products at the company. I'm traveling the world. I'm building an amazing team, and I'm learning a lot along the way. But after 4 years at the company, I was unexpectedly told that the business was moving in a different direction and they were moving on without me. And I was crushed. This was my dream job. My coworkers were like family to me, and I felt betrayed. But this isn't going to be a video about what happened in the past. It's actually what happened next. I call this next chapter of my life fire. You see, something interesting happened that first day when I woke up without a job. Life just kept going, and I actually saw another side of it that you don't usually see if you're working in an office from 9 to 6 every day. You see people outside at coffee shops, walking their dog, going to the beach, and I could finally be part of that for the first time in I don't even remember how long. It's kind of like that underground level in Mario where you're running along the top, but you see this entire game playing out beneath you. And it was kind of easy. It kind of felt like cheating a little bit, just living a much easier life and letting myself slow down and give myself time and space to think. The term fire had shifted in tone from the term of dread of having been fired to a term of possibility, thinking of all the things that were possible. I started to come alive in a new way, like a fire had been lit inside of me. As an aside, the FIRE movement, financial independent retirement early, was also kind of heating up and kind of hitting mainstream appeal. And that had also I'd been following that for a long time, and it had already become a framework about how I think about life and how a job is really just a little piece of the puzzle of building towards a more independent life. And soon afterwards, I couldn't stay still for long, and so I actually got to building a game company. And surprisingly, I felt more engaged than I had been at work in a very long time because I was finally investing in something that I owned and really investing in myself. It forced me to confront a lot of demons. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I no longer a top performer because I'd received this signal that I wasn't valued by a company. And that was a great time to enter therapy, which I highly recommend. We'll talk more about that. But I started living my life more fully. I ended up moving states, coming back to Seattle. But being fired actually pushed my life forward in some unexpected ways. I started a company that didn't do incredibly well, but it really did lay the groundwork for what I'm doing now, working in virtual reality. I built a great life with a home. Also, I started an Airbnb business. I made an amazing new set of friends and strengthened my relationships with family as I really leaned on them going through that period. And I developed a rich set of hobbies. And now layoffs are looming, but I look at them and my whole job in an entirely different way. And it all actually started with being fired. So I want to talk about a few things that I learned from that experience of being fired and some things that I've taken away from it, and maybe it's a helpful perspective for you to consider. The first is that your identity is not defined by your job. Your job doesn't make you successful or a failure. It's easy to associate career success with these extrinsic goals of job offers or promotions or product launches. But success is really about just continuing to get up every day and doing your best work and showing up as your full self, especially when things get tough. Staying in the game and keep showing up. That's actually what success is really built on. You are the product of a lot of things, and your job is just a small part of them. You are your mind. Your mindset is the foundation of everything that you are, and it creates the reality that you see in front of yourself through your thoughts, which give way to actions, which give way to your behaviors and the systems that you create in your life. If anything, you aren't what happens to you. You are what your mind wills you to do next after those things that happen to you. You are your body. You are what you eat, what you drink. That's your diet. You are your physique. You are how you sleep and rest. Your body is the one vessel that you have for navigating this physical place that we're on. And that's an important part of who you are. You are your work, but your job is one way that you exchange your skills for the value that you use to support your life and invest for the future. You can exchange your skills in other ways that also generate value in different ways. You might start a side business. You know, the book hasn't aged super well, but I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was young, and it talks about this idea of minding your business. Your work is your day job, but you want to mind your business. Your business is what you're really building a life around. It's your passion. It's that thing that gets you up in the morning. Your business is the thing that you really want to focus your attention on. And that might be a job, but it might be something else entirely. Your work is also your volunteerism. You're giving your services freely because you received gifts, and it just makes sense for you to give some of those gifts back to people in the ways that you can. I volunteer with Big Brothers Big Sisters as a way to mentor people around the community, and that's one of the ways that I give my gifts back to the world. I teach kids to code, and I love getting to see their faces light up with excitement, express their creativity, because it reminds me of when I stumbled upon coding and I was taught by a few people around my community how to get started. And I can see that sense of excitement and passion lighting up for them just like it did for me. Your financial value also works for you. Going back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it talks about how the poor work for a salary. They work for a job, but the rich work for assets. And in a future video, we're going to talk more about money and how to put it to work for you. But the TLDR is your job is one small piece of your total work, which is only one of your life pillars. Let's keep moving. You are your relationships, your relationship with yourself. Go back to that section on your mind. Your friends, your relationship with your family, your partner, your communities. And you are your hobbies. That's the spice of life. You are the things that you do that just add joy and fun and play and spontaneity to your life. So TLDR, your job is just a small part of your total identity, and it doesn't define you. It took a while for me to realize this because I've been hustling. I feel like I've just been hustling so hard since a young age. But that's where therapy and counseling and coaching really started to help me. And so I'm going to give a plug that everyone deserves to have someone that they can talk to about this. You don't need to wait until you get fired to start doing therapy. Everyone deserves to have a person they can talk to who will reflect their thoughts non-judgmentally and trigger growth for them. It's not your friends, it's not your family, it's not your partner, it's not your pet. That doesn't count. Everyone deserves someone that they can talk to as a non-judgmental peer that will open up some new perspectives for you to think about in life in a different way. Invest in yourself, invest in a therapist. Okay, the next point is that job security is actually an illusion when you think about it. It's not personal, it's just business, is a thing that you'll hear a lot as you gain years in your professional world. Having a job means that your employment is at will. Lots of my friends who have worked at FANG big tech companies for several decades, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years are getting laid off. Your tenure does not equal job security. And so that doesn't mean that you need to immediately quit your job today and go start to work for yourself, although you can do that. But you should focus on building value that you own, and you should know that your job can be fluid and it might not last forever. Finally, just keep going. You're going to bounce back. It's going to be okay. A friend of mine likes to say that it hasn't been so long since we were cavemen, and if you were kicked out of the tribe, that might mean life or death, and being disconnected from your form of livelihood that allows you to put food on the table is a traumatic, scary experience. So it's okay to lean into that and feel some of that fear around that. But know that you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. So give yourself a break. Take a while. Go coast for a bit. Give yourself a week off. You probably deserved a vacation, honestly. But keep learning those new skills. Keep investing in yourself and invest in your own sources of value generation. Now, investing is a great place to start, as is starting a side business. But riches are actually made in recessions, as they say. And so we might be heading into a great opportunity for you to unlock new ways for you to build value and build wealth in the world beyond a job. The other cool thing to see is that laid off tech workers are statistically finding new jobs and landing on their feet. There are a lot of companies still out there that are looking for smart, talented people looking to grow, and you have a lot of opportunity. And so for me, success is really about showing up as your best self and doing your personal best and continuing to get back up every single time. That's actually what defines a successful mindset, and that's what's going to take you really far in this life. All right, I know this video was a little bit rambly, but if you got value from it, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you want to see more videos where we apply product thinking to live a happier, healthier, more productive, connected, and fun life, subscribe to the channel. Now, my question of the day is, have you lost your job? How did it go? What did you learn? And how are you applying those lessons in your life as you move forward? Now, around the time I was fired, I started using Notion to organize my life, and it gave me productivity superpowers. So you can watch this video to find out how. Until next time, love yourself, love those around you. Peace.